All right, we are live. So, everyone, welcome back to our live. It's a different environment for me. So, thank y'all for being here. I'm Allegra, the Marketing Medulla, and I'm here, of course, with Emma Lyons, who is amazing at really helping you unblock, okay, those challenges that you have, whether it comes to money, time, or whatever it is. With myself, the Marketing Medulla, we're going to be talking together about you're not broke, just blocked. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into the fact of the matter. We've been talking a lot of surface level conversation about what it means to really be blocked. We talked about some different type of remedies that we've used in our own lives that have helped us become unblocked, and Emma has demonstrated some examples. But today we're going to go a little bit deeper as to really what this means to be blocked opposed to being broke. And I think that this is something that is totally relevant to where we're at right now, going into the 2024 year. There are a lot of things that, you need to do in order to get yourself in position. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm Allegra, the Marketing Medulla. I'm a business coach and marketing strategist, entrepreneur of many, many years. Love what I do. As a business analyst, I love to look inside of your business and make sure that it's working for you. And whatever's not working, we make it work, right? There's marketing strategies involved in there. There's also access to funding. I do want to make sure that as a coach, I'm always guiding you. So I do have a membership for those of you who do not qualify to work with me as a coach. That's going to guide you through your business planning step by step. Would love for you to join me. But I'm going to go ahead and let Emma introduce herself, and we're going to get into the conversation. Emma.
Hey Allegra, and hey everyone who's watching. Great to be here again. I love having this conversation. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Emma Lyons. I am your money block alchemist, and like Allegra said, I help people who are maybe doing really well in their business, but just feel blocked when it comes to getting to that next level. So maybe people who are like struggling to get to six figures, or who are on six figures and struggling to get to seven. And maybe they have someone like Allegra or telling them all the tools and they're doing all the things and nothing is working. I can help them to get unblocked really, really fast. So all of those amazing strategies can actually start working because like we say around here, it's not that you're broke, you're not really stuck. There's just some kind of mental and emotional block there. And I can help you release that really, really quickly and easily without going through all the trauma again. And, it's so much easier to do that than to struggle for years and years. So I'm really passionate about doing this work. And I'm really excited about this conversation that we're going to have today, Allegra.
Not just excited, thrilled, because we are
Yeah,
going to get some clarity.
we're gonna go to a new level.
Oh gosh. Okay. So for what we talked about in the past, we definitely kind of touched on, hey, you work with money blocks, but let's just really talk about this concept of being broke, being blocked, not broke. There are people that are broke. Okay. There's broke
Yes.
mindsets. There is an actual, and I want to kind of start with that because there's an actual broken mindset that a person can have that will actually deter them from being able to accept that there is actually a problem. And something that you've determined, even in your presentation and your pitch introduction, where you said that you work with people who realize that they have a block, that realize that they have
Yes.
something going on that makes them say, I'm, I think I need a little bit of help. I think
Yeah.
I need someone to kind of guide me. And so when we started there, I really want to kind of pinpoint what that looks like, because we have to differentiate when we're broke and when we're blocked. And for those of us who have a really broken mindset, I want to just start here because, I love to send people over to Ariana with that broken mindset. And that means that, number one, you don't really believe that things are possible for you. You don't actually want to do the work because you don't feel like you have enough momentum, energy, uh, motivation, rather, right? There's just some things that we know within ourselves that we may be broken, and I think that kind of has to there has to be a line to divide what that looks like for us. Being blocked is more so like, hey, I know this is possible for me, but something is stopping me from really understanding what that next step is. Something is stopping me from getting that clarity around what it is that's actually blocking me. And so I think the differentiation between a broken mindset opposed to a blocked mindset is a willingness to actually get the help. What do you think about that, Emma?
Well, I love the way you've just broken that down. I think that's really true. And yeah, it is. I see lots of people, they're starting up, and I can really relate to this. And they actually have they're so broke internally that they feel like they can't actually invest in this, and they feel they're like in a constant state of struggle. And yeah, because they're not, like you said, it's that they're not, they don't feel able to do anything about that. There's a feeling of powerlessness. And yeah, they feel like they can't invest, they can't change it. So it's this that's the disempowered mindset, and that's a real broke mindset, you know. But when you're blocked, it's absolutely true. You know, and I can really relate to this as well. You know you've got all this potential. You know you're really good at what you do. You know people really need it. You know all of these things, but somehow things aren't just connecting. And I mean, I've worked with many people now, and they've spent tens of thousands of dollars. This was also my story. Tens of thousands of dollars on, you know, these coaching programs, this, that, and the other, masterminds, and they promise you the world. We'll get you to six figures in, you know, 6 weeks or something, you know, and you know, people buy into all these things because it sounds amazing, and then they do all the things, and they follow every step to step. And maybe other people get the results, but you don't, even though you know that you're really good at what you do and you've invested in yourself. And what can happen then is that you can start doubting your potential to do it. So it can actually, when you're pushing like that without dealing with addressing these underlying blocks, it can lead you backwards to that kind of broke mindset where you feel like, oh, maybe it's not possible for me. So this is why it's so important to do this work, so you don't end up going backwards, and
Yeah.
you keep that momentum going that you've been working towards, and keep moving forward.
Yeah. I think, you said some amazing things when it comes down to being, this broken mentality type of way, because at the end of the day, there is support and there's help for that, right? Like we talk
Yeah,
about that being for, and that's why I think being able to be aware of what we need is so important. And that's just in general for everyone. That's why when we talked about this earlier, Emma, we said, what is the difference between broke and blocked, right? Because sometimes I think we want to make that definition for you all, because sometimes we're walking around like, oh, okay, I'm not broke, I'm just blocked. But honestly, maybe there needs to be some extra steps taken before you unblock. And for you, what you just said, Emma, is that for me, what I heard was that someone who is broke with their mindset does not believe that it is possible for them. Like
yeah,
that, like they don't believe, like, so here's what I want to break down, because that's why I feel like there are differentials between us actually being in a space where we have been torn down so much in life that we don't have the energy, the strength, the capacity to pick up our own pieces, right? We don't have it. Like there's nothing in me to say, okay, Allegra, get up, get the coach, get the support, do the work, right? There's nothing in me to do that,
yeah,
because I literally have been drained. A lot of times
yeah,
when we're completely drained, we're on empty, right?
yeah,
So when we're in a situation now, we're talking to people who are just like, okay, I'm definitely not that. I definitely believe that
yeah.
it's possible, right? Those are the people we're talking to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's people, and people maybe people who've already been successful, And they know that, maybe they had that thing we talked about another time, which is a typical sign that you've got some of these blocks. Maybe you've started moving forward with your business, you've helped some people, you've started making money. And then, just as you're about to hit the 10K or the 20K or whatever it is, or your goal, the brakes come on and everything seems to grind to a halt. That's a classic sign that there's some fear there. And it's not about strategy. It's not about finding Allegra and following the marketing medulla. There's something within you that's actually scared of getting to the next level. And that part is it can sabotage everything, and not because it wants to destroy your life or anything, but because it wants to keep you safe, and that trumps making a couple of extra dollars, I'm afraid. So you've got to work with that part and release that fear in order for it to be safe for you to make that money and get to the next level. Because the thing is, we have all these internalized beliefs about, being more visible. What are people going to think? Fear of rejection. I think I talked about the first time I did a Facebook Live. Oh my God, it was awful. I was so afraid of being judged. Even though no one was watching me, I was just really coming from that fear place. So, and also, that's the other thing. It's not just showing up. Like people talk about, just show up, just show up. But that's not enough. If you show up and you're actually scared, or if you show up on the calls to talking to your potential clients and you have that needy vibe going on, even if you're saying the exact right things and following the script perfectly, and you're not. People are going to be repelled by your needy energy or something that's going, because these things transmit under the surface. They might not be obvious to you and me, but it's kind of an energetic thing. So we've got to work through those things. And, I think it's so true. You've got to raise your hand, recognize is the first step, but then you got to release them. And it's not, sometimes people can get stuck there. They can recognize they're blocked, and it can make them feel more and more stuck. You've got to be willing to do something about it, because if you keep doing the things you've already been doing, guess what? You're going to keep getting the results you've always been getting. So if you're ready for more, you've got to do something more. And that means, clearing out the resistance inside you to getting to that next level, whatever it means for you. And that means, investing your time, your energy, your effort in doing something different that's going to get you unblocked so that you can get those results that you've been. I mean, I worked with a lady last year, and she had done all these programs and courses. She had her first 10K month when I started working with her. And that was something that, had been promised to her by all these other courses, but things only started to work when she started working on this deeper level with the fear that was inside of her about, reaching those goals. And, that can just be one client, one client can, but, if you've subconsciously got this fear about getting to the next level, you're going to sabotage that. And, like I said, often that's we're really unconscious of that. It happens so subtly.
This is really important. I think this conversation is gonna hit home so deep for someone, because what you were talking about really reminded me of a lot of situations that we go through and we don't even realize it. Like when we talk about women asking for raises, and you've mentioned this, going to another income bracket, going to another height of revenue stream, right? And I'm a witness to this, because when you start to think about things, and I think this is so important, because a lot of times we're, like we said, there's a difference between being broke and being blocked. Like when we're broke, child, you need to get real help. Like someone needs to really guide you through the emotional capacity of it. But when you're just blocked, you're like, okay, I make $40,000. How do I get to 50? How do I get to 60? How do I get to six figures? How do I get to multi six figures? And I think that this is such an important part, because for a lot of us, when we're climbing up that ladder, whether it's in our careers, because I worked for a Fortune 500 company before, and I remember every single time I wanted a raise, I asked for it. It wasn't a question. It was like, I want a raise. And if they didn't give it to me, I left the job. It's just like, whatever, I just get a better job. But sometimes we are so caught up in the fact that we get so conditioned, and this happened to me over time. After asking for things for so long and you don't get it, you start to feel like you don't deserve it. Like, maybe I need to do more to get that raise. Maybe I really didn't do enough. And so let's just stick to that real quick, Emma, because we're not even going to talk. Like, it's one thing with business, because I'm working with people who are in 9 to 5 and in their business. So it's not one way or another. This is happening in every part of their lives. And if you are in a corporate structure, especially in a male-dominated corporate structure, and you're like, I've been making this amount of money for the last 3 to 5 years, and I'm ready to get to the next level so I can do more for my family, do more for my life. What do you say to that?
Well, I made a YouTube video about this. This is called an income ceiling, and you can have an income ceiling in your job. We all do. You can have the income ceiling can be different sometimes when you're running your own business than working in a job. Sometimes it can be less because we often have that belief. Like I think pretty much everyone that I've worked with, including myself, had that belief that you got to work hard for money, and that can mean that you make more money in a job than you do doing something you actually enjoy. It's got to be hard work. So sometimes people, their income ceiling for their business is very low, or sometimes many people, their income ceiling for their business can be quite high, but recognize that's your income ceiling. And the way you find out, it's like a thermostat. This is how I talk about it in the video. It's if you think about a thermostat that you have in your house, you set it for 70 degrees, and when it gets really cold outside, the temperature comes down. And what happens with the thermostat? It comes on, the heating pumps out, and the temperature goes back up, right? And the same thing if it's a really hot day and the temperature goes up in the house. Then you have your cooling system, your air conditioning goes on. So you can't just raise the temperature in the house by just pumping on the heat, because the thermostat's going to come in and cool it down all the time. That's a total waste of time, and that's what people do when they are running into all these brick walls again and again, and just trying tools. Let me try the next thing, the next shiny object. Let me go find this coach, that coach. Let me do that. Let me throw more money at this problem. Because that's not the problem, actually. You've you're at an income ceiling, and there's some kind of fear that's there about you getting to your next level. And that's exactly what it is. There's a fear about the person, who do I have to become to be that next level? If I start, I'm not the kind of person that makes 6 figures. People who make 6 figures aren't like me. Maybe they're a different color. Maybe they're a different gender. We can have all these things rolling around in our subconscious, and they will sabotage your success every single time until you address that and break through that and realize the power that's inside you to have infinite wealth and to make it just for who you are and the gifts that you are here to share with the planet.
Man, Emma, what came up for me when you were just saying that? Because you said so many great things as far as it being the fear of something rather than the fact that you have a lack of. Like, I mean, we spend money on things all the time. I was just actually talking about this in different math. Like, if you accumulated all the money that you spent on things that you don't use and you actually invested it into your education for your business, yourself, your personal development, right? We would have a different type of experience. But a lot of times we do throw money at the problem. Like we do. Like we tend to be like, okay, well, and I've had to turn away. I mean, I have literally taken people's money and been like, I cannot take your money anymore, because this is really what we do. We tend to want to keep paying for something, hoping that it will change. I think that is a huge block, because if I'm constantly paying for something that's not going to deem results, then I'm really, honestly, and it goes back to what you're talking about. it's really, I mean, like, what, like, I'm throwing money at the problem. And it usually is a problem that I need to fix to make more money.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's like
yeah.
I'm literally putting myself in a situation kind of to purposely sabotage. Now, different than someone who is broke, because if I'm broke in my mentality, usually if you're broke in your mentality, just put it like this, you're broke everywhere else. That's just the bottom line. If you're broke in
Yeah.
your mentality, you're broke in you're broke in your personal life, your relationships, your money, you're just broke because your mindset really does, and this is just from my experiences, you have to improve on your mindset as much as possible to live the life that you desire. It does not come from things. And so when we talk about being blocked, like, there are a lot of times where we're in situations where, like, for example, when you brought it up earlier about career heights and going up the ladder, I think for some of my experiences, I used to look at women in high paid positions and be like, what did they do to get there? And this is really like something that came up in the moment while you were speaking, because I'm like, did I ever think like that? Like, did I ever think that someone making that amount of money above me in that position of power in the companies that I worked in, that I felt that they did something to get there? And I honestly can say I probably did, because there's something that comes up emotionally
Yeah.
for me when I think about that. And if you have
Yeah.
if you have that mindset, then of course subconsciously there will be something that will say, you
Yeah.
know,
Not for you. Not for you, Allegra. It's only for men, of people for that color, that whatever your story is.
right.
But we all have those stories. So this is and especially women, that's why I work with a lot of women, because women have these stories that, only men get to that money, make that much money. And, we like to talk about the patriarchy and all of this and lay it on men, but really we're not owning our power either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a two-way street, guys. You've got to own it. You can't expect someone to recognize your power if you're hiding your light. You can't. That's not reasonable.
Now, is it
And
the same as like when we're in relationships and we hide our power there too? Like, you know,
yeah,
I'm feeling weak and you should feel bad for me type scenario
yeah.
instead
The
of,
victim mindset, Allegra. Exactly. That's what it is. We have this victim mindset, and I mean, that shows up in all areas of life, and it shows up in the micro, inside your mind, inside your, like, you have the voice, the victim, the rescuer, and the persecutor. We have these three characters. You persecute yourself when you start putting yourself down. Then you have the victim role that we play, and you see that playing out in everything that we do in life. This is the kind of reality, the duality that we live in, and we want to move into a place where we become more empowered, and we're not in that victim and persecutor roles. We are fully empowered, and we're constantly moving forward with the help of a kind of coach and guide, and we don't need any rescuing, because we're no longer victims of our own. There are no victims, really. We are victims of our own mindset, and that's really powerful when you fully believe that, because you take back your power from the patriarchy, you take back your power from the white man or whatever else you believe is out there ruling over you. Because you have the power to change your life. You've just got to raise your hand and do that work. And you know what? People think it's hard. Let me tell you what's really hard. The really hard thing is trying, being in struggle mode all day and all night. That's really hard. Constantly trying to do something and feeling like you're never moving forward. That I know is hard, because I've been there. And things can be so much easier. You get into that state of flow. The the clients just show up, you find yourself getting opportunities come to you. You don't have to chase them down or hunt them. They land on your doorstep. You're having the conversations with people who need exactly what you do, or they can refer someone to you. This is like, these are acts of grace that we don't go chasing after. And that way of achieving success is so the opposite of exhausting. We've been taught that you've got to exhaust yourself in order to get success. And, while some people do reach a certain level of success that way, people don't get fulfilled. And lots of people like myself, I tried that way and it didn't do anything for me. Like, I was still fully in struggle mode, even when I was doing all the things and, following all the steps and following all the gurus and working really hard, the hustle, you gotta hustle. Have you seen those YouTube videos, Allegra? You gotta hustle hard, never sleep, never go to bed. Yeah. Never sleep. Sleep is for losers. I'm sorry. I down with that sort of thing. That is really toxic. And that's not a good way to live.
Mm-hmm. I think, and I love those videos, by the way. I'm not knocking those. Because for those of y'all, I don't knock the motivational videos because, the E.T. hip hop preacher and David Goggins and all them, they're made for certain groups, right? Because
there is a time and a place, where you just need to get off your ass and you need to hear something like that, there's a time and a place for that.
Like, if you're just like a meathead, but like, honestly, we're women, okay, let's just put it like this. We kind of operate, and this is what I'm just telling y'all, like, we operate differently. Working with women entrepreneurs, it is different. And we can't go by the same standard that we have seen, heard, believed before, because you said it yourself, Emma. You said that we don't have the same confines. Like, there are not the same excuses. So the things that we say now, sometimes I listen to and I'm like, that was like back in the day. That no longer exists. So for us to say, well, this is why we can't do that, or this is why I feel stuck, a lot of the reasoning is from things that no longer exist. They're in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, how many excuses do we really have at this point? Because as women in business, I have seen women go from, let me put it to example. There's a lady, she's an older Black lady, mind you, okay? And you were talking about racial factors when you have people that go, oh, the white man this, or this person holds me down, right? Because we definitely
we got the oppressed mindset
in the Black culture. I still hear it, oh, I got to go to work for the white man. It's like, what are you talking about? You can work for anybody you want to work for. What the heck are you saying? And so we tend to take the excuses and bring that. And that's why I feel like we're blocked, because all of those barriers and those things that were in place before, right? They are removed. You don't have any reason as to why you can't fulfill your purpose in life, start the business, make the money you want. There are no glass ceilings here. Like, there's just so much opportunity. And that lady that I was listening to, she worked with the SBA. She started out, and I tell people all the time when I work with them in their business, stop trying to bootstrap and spend all this money in the beginning of your business startup. Why? You don't have the money in your business yet, but you're going to spend money on getting all this stuff for your business. I've seen people buy systems and software and marketing material, and I'm like, you don't even know who your customer is. So literally, we're kind of like putting the cart before the horse when it comes
to my God, yeah. I could totally talk about that, Allegra. There are marketers out there who say, just buy this funnel, just buy this program, and you'll definitely be successful. And people are doing those things before they have the idea about what they want to do, for example. It's just the wrong stage to go for these things. And I think in a lot of cases, it's an act of desperation for them, and just really good marketing from the people with these programs. And they're,
Absolutely. But you in the UK, I don't know if this is the same, Emma. in the UK, I don't know if they have organizations like the SBA, which is a small business association here, but we have the Small Business Association, which has been there since I started my business, and the subdivision score, which teaches you everything. Everything. They provide you with assistance to get loans, grant support, right? They give you a step by step. They help you write your business plan. So all these things that people are like, oh, I got to pay $10,000 to get this person to teach me. I'm like, just go down to your local SBA and just get that support. And the example that I got out of this, and this is why it's kind of hit home for me about being blocked, is because a lot of us won't even do it. It's a free resource.
Oh, yeah.
You literally could just go down and get it. And one of the representatives, one of the ladies that she provides, her company is one of the largest companies that provides that does federal contracting with the government here. And what they do is they provide the pieces to the planes, like the actual different pieces, the parts, all the parts that the planes need. They manufacture it. A Black woman, who most people will say you can't even get in the door. But this lady has not only gotten in the door, but she busted it wide open. And she gave examples as to what that looked like. And for me, what it showed me is that the limitations and the boundaries and the setbacks that are out there for us who are blocked are there because we choose to allow it to be.
100%, Allegra. It's absolutely true. We have these self-imposed limitations. And the good news about that is that you can get rid of them. You can take them down because you put them up for various reasons, reasons that probably you're not consciously aware of, but they're there for a reason. They're there to keep you safe. They're there to keep you connected to your culture and your people so you don't rise above your station. We've heard that one, who are you to be that successful, and all these things about wealthy people or people in that Ferrari, all this resentment that, certain communities have towards wealthy people, and we assume if we see someone drive by in a fancy car, they've got some, they're a criminal or something, or what if they've done something dodgy to make that money. We resent people who are successful and expect ourselves to be successful at the same time. And it doesn't work like that. You are blocking yourself, and you gotta release those blocks in order for you to allow yourself to be successful. And that goes for everyone. I don't care what race, religion, or ethnicity you're from. We are all kind of subject to our own limitations. And that's why, your David Goggins is really, because his talk, it's not just about hustling hard. It's about taking the action, and really it's about having he doesn't preach just do. He preaches believe, confidence in yourself first, and and build your confidence through taking action. But he achieved what he did because he believed in himself. As a Black man who I've listened to some of his talks, I've listened to his audiobook, and it's such an inspiring story. Came from nothing and no one, and did something that so many people would believe impossible. Have you seen that one, that what's it called, A Million Miles from Home, Allegra? About he's a Mexican farm worker and he joined NASA.
No.
It's on. You got to watch that video. It's out this year. Such an amazing film. It's just incredible. And again, he had the vision. He knew what he wanted from a very young age. He set his intention. He tried. He got refused and turned down. I don't remember, 6 or 7 times, but he kept going. He had the support from his family. He had the vision, and without that, it's no good just to take all the action. You've got to have the vision. You've got to have the self-belief. You've got to be aligned. And this is the problem with so many people. We're not aligned. We want to be successful, but I don't want to be successful. I'm afraid. People like me, people who are my color, people who look like me don't get that. Or you've got some kind of, you've got a cross purpose. You've got one part of you that wants to go this way and one part of you that wants to go that way. And that impulse is often unconscious and is very, very strong. And often we end up stepping backwards without even being aware of what's going on.
Yep. Yep. And I think, and this is what I just heard real quick in that this last moment when I work with some of the individuals that I've worked with in the past, I can clearly see that they don't enjoy what they're doing. Like, that's a block. That's a huge, like, for me, when I think about it, I'm like, wait, why would you come to me as a coach? And this is something that I want everyone to think about that's listening to this live. Why would you come to me as a coach and say, oh, I really want to do A, B, and C, which is maybe a service of some kind. But if I go, well, what have you sold? And what do you plan to sell? Who do you plan to sell to? There's like literally nothing. Like, oh, I've never sold it before, and they don't actually know how they want to present it, right? And there's something very simple to me about that. And I think that because I almost got really confused for a second as a business coach, because I was like, wait a minute, am I missing something? Because you said that this is what you want to do. You want to provide this type of service. So when it comes to actually doing it, there's a level of resistance there. And that's how I know that there's a block, because you don't really want to. You don't really want to provide that service. You don't really want to sell that product. And we have a lot of business owners. I'm taking it back to the business because we talked about careers, asking for the raise, asking for positions of power, whatever it is that you want. You should be able to live the life that you want and get the desires of your heart. I'm tired of seeing people live a life that they resent and resist. If you don't like what you do, if you don't like what you offer in your business, then decide and figure that out. That is the blocked part. That is where you get into a space where you're like, I really, really, really know that this is where I want to be in my life. I want to run a business. I want to have this career. I want to do this. But something in there is clearly saying that I'm not taking this next step. And I've seen it so much in business owners that I've worked with that's why my program became so exclusive. In the beginning of me just working with people, I was like, there's way too many people that are just blocked. Just way too many people are just completely blocked about the fact that they were either told to do something and they continued that process and didn't actually ask themselves why they continued it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But Emma, I want them to be able to have a chance to get this unblocking, okay, this process. I know you have a room today with Dr. Jackie, and I know that you have a clearing session that you've done. If you don't mind talking about that before we get out of here, and just guiding people to your services so that we can get them.
Yeah, sure. So at the moment, what I'm offering in the clubhouse room, and I'm going to offer it here as well. It's a clearing session. So this isn't just like a chat. I'm going to actually help you clear and experience for yourself how quickly and easily these blocks can be released and resolved. So, I'm offering this at the moment, like it's such a bargain. It's only $297. So I will drop the link for that, and you can book your time with me. So if you can see, I'm going to post also. I have on my Instagram and on my social media, I have other videos of me working with people, and people think it needs to take a long time, and it's really hard, and it really isn't. It's actually so easy. And if you're feeling blocked, make getting blocked your next step and forget everything else.
Yeah, thank you, Emma. I appreciate that. And you all make sure that you connect with Emma. Share this live. Let people know that this live is for them, because there are so many people in the world that need this particular conversation. At the same time, they also need Emma in their life. I myself, I'm going to be there for you on a business side, because like I said, I've worked with people who are so blocked, and I'm going to tell you there's nothing I can do for you. I'm going to tell you that, at the end of the day, you have to be the one to want it. You have to have the desire to equip yourself with the drive. Because at the end, like when I think about the challenges that you have to go through in your business, you're going to have to go through the challenges, but you have to equip yourself with what my mother says, the tools in your toolbox. And this is what Emma's providing. She's providing tools in your toolbox. So you don't have to worry about, am I asking for what I really desire and deserve? This is important. So Emma, thank you again for your time. We're going to get out of here. You all have an amazing day, and we will see you next week. We might go live this week to talk about this a little bit more, but next week we'll be coming back with the conversation, going a little bit deeper into what it really means to be blocked. Y'all have an amazing day.
See you guys. Bye.